That's
Sweet.
all right.
like
Ladies
it.
and gentlemen, or whoever's listening, that is our new music that we have just put on our podcast. And so this is the first time trying it out. Welcome to Two Dumbbells and a Microphone. I'm Joey Dussel, and that over there is
DJ Moore.
That's right. I'm so excited that I flipped on my own name. I'm DJ Moore. That's
Joey Dussel. Here we go. Two Dumbbells and a Microphone, episode 5B.
5B.
This will be pillars of my coaching. So last episode, hopefully you heard 5A. That was DJ talking about the pillars of his coaching and the way he does the things he does as a coach. And today is going to be my chance to answer that same question.
Mm-hmm. But differently, actually.
Yeah.
A little bit different.
This is a really cool opportunity for the audience and anybody who knows both of us or either one of us individually. This is a great opportunity for you to see the similarities and also the differences. And I think that's something worth pointing out because there's some really significant concepts that go through both of our coaching.
Yep.
And I love that they show up from one older male, one younger, two different education patterns, two different experience levels and pathways through the fitness career, and now arriving here together at this kitchen table.
At the same point too. It's like
Yeah.
it's a cool path that we've been on, and we talked about this early on in our first podcast. You know, kind of a little bit of my journey, some of yours too as well.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a saying in fitness that it's more of a great quote, but when we talk about it in fitness, we kind of narrow it down and we say that once you see the path to greatness, you'll recognize it broadly across many different things. And I love this for fitness because there's certain concepts like our posture or breathing or movement pace that are universal, whether it's a gymnast or a kettlebell expert or an Olympic weightlifter. There's some rules of the gym and of the fitness lifestyle that go across all of those disciplines. And I really love to notice those because that speaks to the correctness of that concept. If the weightlifters and the body weight guys and the yogis are all talking about certain way to be respectful of our spine and to keep ourselves safe for the lifetime of our training, that's a great concept that's agreed upon by many experts. And so when we talk about fitness concepts today and coaching pillars, I love to see those similarities across different successful coaches.
Yeah, it's nice. I've often told my clients, it's like, if you don't believe me, look it up.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I mean, if you think I'm blowing smoke, check this out.
Yep.
I said, I will gladly be proven wrong and go, okay, great, if you can do so.
Right. Yeah, that would be developmental for you as a coach. But of course, they're not going to prove you wrong because we know our stuff when we talk about it to another person. But that's a great way to be proud of what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I think if you do have your pillars, I think this is what you stand on as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, if this is what you're following and this is your philosophy, why not spread this philosophy to everybody else? Certainly, I'm doing the same thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And, I think about sometimes these moments I would have in college with my exercise professional friends. We would have kind of these, nice-spirited debates. And one question we would often ask was, if you only could use 5 movements for the rest of your training, which 5 would you pick? I hope this becomes a podcast topic one day because I'd love to answer it. And the reason that it was a great, thoughtful, debateful question was because there's not really a right or wrong answer. But if a person has good rationale and solid, scientific evidence for what they're saying, then it really shows that they're doing that thoughtful, professional level training. And we would sometimes hear from other trainers who would say, oh yeah, this so-and-so because it's my favorite exercise. Like personal preference has anything to do with what's effective for other clients.
That is true.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So I would much rather hear someone say, the elliptical because it has these benefits and blah, blah, blah. That's what works for my clients. Okay, cool. You're thinking. I love that. That's what I kind of want to think about with today's topic as well. Like you might have different pillars as a coach, or if you're a client and your coach has different pillars, that's okay as long as they have a reason for their pillars, as long as they're really thinking about what they're doing and why they're doing it.
Right. Well, that insight, that thoughtfulness is what I would like to bring to my clients as well. I am thinking about what I'm delivering to you. I'm not just making up hype words. It's like those, a lot of gyms like to put up inspirational quotes, just smashing all over
Yeah.
the wall, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, check these out. Look at all. They really don't inspire. They really don't have any thought put into them by
Sure.
the person putting them up.
Yeah.
Because they're made by somebody else. And while, yes, you read them, they may be inspiring, they're really kind of not.
They're usually like kind of just vague enough that it's likable by everyone.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of nonsense.
It's that non-thoughtful
Yeah.
process. So when you bring your pillars, and I brought my pillars, these have been thought out for, hours.
Oh,
about
yeah.
why you want to really tell this part. And I like the fact that yours are different than mine. And I expect them to be. So
Yeah.
you want to start with number one?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so to your point, this is really, really thought out, and this is something I'm really committed to. I actually have put all of this down on my website because it's the foundation for the way that I coach. And so many years ago, when DJ and I were working on this journey of self-analysis as to what type of trainer we are and who we want to work with and what we want to help them achieve, we were able to identify some of the things that were most important to us to do a good job for our clients. And so I've put all these together on my website. It's transformation-possible.com/thepillars. And you'll be able to read these more if you want to. But I mention that because it really speaks to how long this has been the way I'm doing things and just how committed I am to all of these.
Yeah. The longevity of what you stand on says how much of a foundation it truly is.
Right.
And I think that you're right on that. And that's what we want people to build on too, so they have that same foundation and structure to build off of.
That's great. Yeah.
So, man, I love where you're at, man. Let's run it.
Okay, cool. So the very first pillar, I think this is required for me to do a good job, and I would argue maybe for every trainer to do a good job, is a thorough initial consultation. There has to be some screening. There has to be a way for your coach to discover who you are, where you're at, and where you're trying to get to. And I speak about this a lot because I do, every fitness professional does the most initial appointments. Some people progress to that second, third step and they become a client, but everybody has to do that first appointment, whether they fall off or not. So we've had the chance to see people who go on to become successful, and we've seen people who don't even start. And regardless of where they're at and what they're trying to do, it is crucial for that coach to be at the same level, going to the same place, at the same pace as the participant. And so I sum it up as briefly as possible to just say, like a tandem bicycle, we have to be going to the same place at the same pace or it's not going to work out. And in that initial assessment, we can also screen for the roadblocks and the challenges we might be able to just sidestep so we don't run into them at all.
Yeah, man, I could dive into this one that you put down for another 20 minutes, but I'm not going to because we would be here all day, but that is so crucial. The screening of your client. You have to know what they're going to give you so that you can properly train them correctly.
Yep.
Every pothole we got to try to know. So the more thorough we can find out about your joints, tendons, ligaments, muscles, accidents, injuries,
training history,
medication, sports, any of that data for us,
everything,
and future trainers that you're looking for should be screening hard.
Right.
So we know exactly where to start you so that you benefit right away.
Yeah.
Dude, good.
Crucial to have the client we need to know that where the client is realistic about point B, where they're trying to get to, and point A, where they're at now. Some people are a little bit maybe subconsciously inaccurate about their current physical state or readiness. Sometimes we have to just get a little bit synchronized on that. And I think this is an important thing to mention because I know for myself personally, it was a watershed moment of coaching when I started to be brave enough to turn clients down because of the results of the initial consulting. And that's not to be dismissive of them or to put them off from fitness. It was a realization of a mismatch between my abilities and what they needed. That realization is not possible unless we have the assessment. And if it shows up, I think it's crucial for fitness professionals to be able to say, whoa, no, sorry, I'm an expert at this part and you need something slightly different. And that shouldn't be offensive to anyone, but it can be very hard for fitness professionals to say because we need to earn the money that comes from this client, and we do want to demonstrate our ability to work with a lot of people.
I'll be honest. I've taken not a lot of clients, but I have taken a couple clients that might have been a little bit far out of my scope.
Same.
Because I needed the money. I had to, man. I had to have clientele.
Right.
And so you can't just turn that kind of money away, especially when you're first starting. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's horrible. No.
Right.
But however, I dug into those problems hard. Mm-hmm. Like, as soon as I found out, I'm like, research, data, learn, talk, physical therapy, anything that I could get my hands on.
Broadening your knowledge.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm going to continue on. I just kept trying to learn and learn and learn. And years later,
Yeah, and I've been in the same situation, you know, that is really important. And I know other fitness professionals feel that as well, where it's challenging to really have, you know, the ability to say, kind of to turn down that sale. But one thing that really stuck with me is that we all need to have the bravery. And I hope also for participants, if you hear this from your coach, don't be upset with him or her. But we need to have the bravery to be able to have someone come up to us and, you know, metaphorically they say, how does my hair look? And you have to look at them and say, well, it's okay, but your pants are unzipped. You know, and it's kind of like, hey, they're asking you about one part of fitness, but you're like, oh, you have this other problem that I know is more pressing to you, and I want you to focus on instead. So it's a little bit of a redirect for the client, and I know that can be a little challenging to hear sometimes, but as a coach, this initial consulting is our chance to say, like, hey, let's make sure we're both going for the right thing.
Wouldn't you want your coach or fitness trainer to be absolutely honest with you?
Yeah.
I mean,
I would hope so.
Do you really want me to lie to you? No, you shouldn't want me to lie to you.
It's not in their best interest.
It's not in your client's best interest. Yes, I believe that this
And we've seen this where people come in with poor posture and they say, I want a trainer to help me build up my bench press and lift 500 pound or whatever number. And then this guy raises his hand like, oh, I'll be your trainer for that. And I would rather have a coach say, whoa, your upper back is not strong enough. We need to fix your posture. You need to go lighter on the bench pressing until those things are corrected. And then you're going to ultimately be able to lift heavier, more safely. That's a coach, right? That's the one who says, hey, your pants are unzipped. Instead of just saying, oh yeah, we can help you lift heavier and I'll perpetuate your problem.
However, we need that client to be receptive too as well, because a lot of what you're talking about, they don't want to be receptive. No, dude, that's not me. And you're like,
I'm so glad you brought that up.
I'm like, well, hold on. Like, dump your cup out so we can fill it up with really good knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Don't just keep overflowing it. And so there's that receptive client that what I'm looking for that says, well, why is he telling me this, man?
Yeah.
Why? Because you're my best interest.
Yeah.
Everything that I want from you, it's got to go through me, and your best interest in your health is what I'm looking out for.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Yeah. And I love that thought of, you know, when you said that about the cup, I'm thinking in my head, if somebody comes to me and their cup is like, let's say 1/10 of the way full with some sludge, some crud, right? We could put a whole rest of clean, pure water in there and it's just going to dilute that crap till it's fully up to the top. We need you sometimes as a client. This is the message you should hear. Dump the cup dump the cup out completely and let us give you just fresh, clean, rinse it out and then fill up from fresh, you know, and be so much better off. That can be hard as a client because it's a little bit, sometimes makes you feel bad about what you've done so far or not done.
They think they're doing a good job at what they're watching and reading and hearing too. They don't know that they're actually being fed sludge.
Sometimes some misinformation or misapplied information. Yeah, absolutely. So number one, initial consultation. This is crucial for the trainer to do a good job. And it's also crucial for the client to be, you know, really clear and expressive and tell us what matters so we can do the best job back for you. And you get the most out of what you're doing with your coach. It's time and money spent.
By the way, whoever's listening to this, just to let you know how important I think some of this material is, I'm actually taking notes.
Cool.
I'm taking notes on Joey's pillars because I've heard Joey talk about these things, but I don't know all the details like this. So I'm just writing little things down. If you're listening to this, maybe you should write some of this stuff down too before you go get your next coach.
Yeah,
just
cool.
Little tidbits, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, that is great.
Oh, thank you. We're trying to work our soundboard. Tell you what, though, DJ, cut this fan off, though, in case that's too whooshy. That might make too much air noise. I didn't realize it was even going still.
A lot of texture, everybody. Yeah. A lot of texture here.
Yep.
You should bring that in, too, man. We
there.
know. people should know, hey, we started this podcast and we're not perfect. We've got two different sounds coming out. We're working on our artwork. We're doing things.
Yeah.
But we decided that we should just go. Just start it. Just do something besides talk about it. And so sometimes you'll hear Joey say things like, hey, DJ, can you turn that fan off? Like, oh, yeah.
Because we're the tech support, cameramen, podcast, caterers, transportation, stunts, everything.
And you hear me in the beginning just call myself Joey.
Yeah.
It's these kind of things that let you know that we're just real people, man. And that's what we are. I screw up all the time. What's number 2, man?
All right, number 2. Pillar number 2 is comprehensive information and resources. And I believe that this is step 2, pillar 2, because we cannot do anything without proper info. And proper info by nature has to be systematic. So there's a lot of info that's available for free on the web or in a magazine or a YouTube video. But unfortunately, that resource cannot know if it is proper for you to be applied. And so go ahead.
Your pillars, man. These could go on for days.
Yeah, the page is too long already.
So. These, I know I'm geeked because these are bangers in my head. Like when I hear you say stuff like this, I've said some of these same things.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, please, I'm sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, thank you.
These are so good.
I like that. It's comforting to have a confirmation as well. And you know, as we're talking about these things, I hope that it's useful for the audience too, because you know, I know so many times people have sat across from me and they said, "Oh yeah, you know, I saw this thing and it's good for me to do deadlifts." And it's like, "Oh, well, you know, maybe." Or here's a better example: kettlebell swings. "Oh, Tim Ferriss has a great kettlebell swing program. I'm going to start it next week." Okay, but you are not the type of person that should be doing that many kettlebell swings. And number 2, you're not even doing the kettlebell properly. So even if it was the right info, it's not being applied. But
it's not
the right info start. So it's kind of doubly wrong. Yep. And I really feel in this moment, because this individual is trying hard, they're putting in effort, and it's kind of like you're just watching them spin their wheels. And it's distressful for me, because I know I wouldn't want to be in their shoes, feeling ineffective and getting tired and sweaty and knee pain by the end of this program that I shouldn't even be doing, and I'm also doing incorrectly. So info is part of it, but it has to have that individualization that comes from the first pillar, which was our consultation, to really make sure that we're taking the small little snippet of health and fitness knowledge that's right for you, and then starting you out at the correct beginning point.
The right level. Yeah. This is why I set up my programs the way I did, was those phases that because I wanted every single person to start from the exact point of what they needed to be at.
Yep.
So I'm looking for those exact people that need to start exactly here.
Yep.
And it's you're bringing it up again. This individualization is key.
Yeah, and that's how I see myself as a fitness professional. It's kind of like my job to know everything about health and fitness, or everything that I can. And then to learn everything I can about this participant, so I can match what I know to what they need. And that is the individualization, which is actually the third pillar. So we can roll right into that.
Is it really the third one?
It is, yeah.
Well, I'm glad, because I wrote that word down.
Yeah, so individual programs and recommendations. This is crucial because every single person has a little bit different culmination of life experiences. We've all had like a certain amount of time with poor posture or desk, or we drank a certain level in college, or we had a certain level of sport participation, or we didn't. You know, every single person is a little bit different. And when we look at health and fitness, we need to factor that in, because we can get so zoomed in that we can even notice the differences in individuals' limb length to torso ratio, which then changes the best type of deadlift he or she should be doing. Sumo or traditional, kettlebell or barbell or trap barbell. Those are the differences that fitness professionals make from the initial assessment plus what we know about health and fitness to then make that perfect match. And this is where I think the individuality of training really shines. That's why it works as well as it can.
And when this is why your client has the best outcome from that as well.
Yep. Okay. Cool. And then as a participant, if I was not given an individualized program, I would be pretty suspect. Just as a word for you participants out there, make sure you're not just getting templated copy paste or something.
Well, we got to teach everybody how to squat. That's or hinge. We'll use the proper term, not necessarily squat, but actually we want everybody to learn how to hinge. Well, everybody's going to learn at their own pace. They're all, like you said, the individualization is because what they had in their past has led up to their inability and or ability to hinge properly. Right? So while I have one person hinging and learning with a kettlebell, I can have somebody else learning how to hinge with just their body weight.
Right.
And so that individualization is based on their past and where they're at now. And you set that tone because you've learned all the info and the screening prior to.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And the last piece with the last piece with individualization is what I call harmony with our program. And that's a feeling of like, it's not requiring you a ton of willpower or toughness to participate. It works with your life. It utilizes the equipment you have easy access to. It doesn't involve stuff that makes your hands hurt or whatever. Yeah, there you go. Sustainability. So DJ's pointing to his notes from 5A, very similar to what he was talking about, of making it work with your life, making it mesh. And that is something, again, another episode we want to do in the future. That's something that fits for a 90-year workout program.
Dude.
And I love that term, right? We always hear 90 days till whatever result. But what if we were looking at a lifetime of workouts? Well, we would have to make sure that when we participate in those workouts, it's not like drawing a lot of energy from us. It's not pulling us down. In fact, it works well. It fits in. It feels good. And then we want to participate. And that's a fantastic feedback loop that's really beneficial for the participant. And it's baked into the program by achieving these pillars along the way.
Check.
Cool.
Agreed.
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah, right on.
Foundations, everybody. Foundations. What's next, man? 4?
All right. Yeah. Pillar 4, top level coaching. This is crucial because there's so many voices in health and fitness, and there's some very attention grabbing voices, which are from people who are naturally skillful participants, who are maybe fit in spite of what they're doing, and are not actually the ones that we should be paying the most attention to as an expert. Now, I'll say as a big qualifier, there's overlap here, but sometimes your expert participant is not your most knowledgeable coach. And I think actually the people who do it, who are able to do an activity most naturally, are the least able to teach someone else how to do it because they don't have to access any learning strategies. They don't have to work on the problem in different ways. They can just do it correctly.
You know what? I've got a great example of this, and,
Yeah.
and it bears to be put down, and this is it. So my fiance, she shows me this lady she's following who does all these really dynamic calisthenic workouts.
Okay.
I mean, with kettlebells and plates and this very, very, they're difficult.
Sure.
Right. And but the lady doing them, you can tell, man, this girl is just an athlete.
Yeah.
Able to do this stuff, no freaking problem. She has no instructional words. There's nothing on there. She just shows the move of all these things happening all at one time, right? No instruction to it. Well, more than capable. And they're issuing it out as its health advice. Like this is what try this. And it's like, can you even swing the kettlebell like that? Can you squat that low? Can you jump that high? Like these are all levels, but they, like you said, they're not coaching. They're just giving this content that doesn't apply to the participant.
Yeah.
But it looks fantastic. And so you'll click on it to use it, but it doesn't apply to you. It's well beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. That's top level coaching.
That's perfect. You nailed it. Yeah. And for me, you know, this situation is most crystallized. You know, again, I'm looking at the website page here, and it has a list of my credentials and the certifications and experience that I've earned. But, you know, for me, this moment was most crystallized when I was working on creating the online coaching business that I have. And I was actually feeling like my shoulders were tighter. My legs were weaker than they had been before because I was having more desk time than ever. And I was thinking like, man, this sucks. You know, I'm smart as a coach and I'm making a great website and I'm spending all this time editing these videos that are really useful for my audience. And it's actually detrimental to my fitness to the point where I was less of a spotlight fitness professional than some of these other trainers who didn't have a website, who didn't have a database, who had some stuff that I did have. And so in my mind, I was kind of struggling with this. Like, am I really a high quality professional if I can't do those things that they're showing on their videos? Well, my realization was that they are lacking some of these other parts, which, again, bringing it back to the client, it's crucial for the client to have a skillful coach with multiple certifications and different ranges of experience and maybe a wide range of client types so that they can get the best for that individual client. Right. If you have a hotshot girl who's only ever trained other 20-year-old females to do stuff, she just doesn't have the conceptual awareness for a 49-year-old soccer mom with 2.5 knee injuries. And that's something that a coach is going to have from, really a top level coach is going to have from the anatomy we've gone through and all the certifications.
That's why I no longer call myself a personal trainer.
Yeah.
I'm a fitness and health professional.
Yep.
I've gone beyond the idea that I'm just going to show you moves.
Yeah. Yep.
Why you need them, when you need them.
And I think this is crucial to talk about on the podcast, because if a person is searching for a trainer, they might gravitate towards those trainers who have the flashiest looking stuff in their posts. Yeah. Most ripped, most heroic looking, cool handstand,
best outfit,
whatever. Yeah. And then it's like, wait a second. Maybe if you are thinking about hiring this professional, you would be better off if you had somebody whose shoulders were a little smaller, but they've been at another certification or another seminar or something like that then helps you out.
Or get to know your trainer.
Yeah.
Like you're doing right now, listening to these podcasts. Get to know them before hiring them. You don't have to, you can go to a gym and talk to trainers all you want.
Yeah.
For free, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll gladly listen to you because they're going to want to try to hook you into training with them.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy their training, but you can hear whatever comes out of their mouth. And if you can put it against what material we're giving you here, you may see why you may want to or not want to hire that person.
Yeah.
A litmus test.
That's an important litmus test because, what's at stake for the participant? Obviously, your money goes when you spend on the sessions and your time when you attend. But literally, your health and wellness is on the table too. If your trainer has you do a box jump because he's a good box jumper and he has never read any studies about the landing forces received when a person jumps off of a box, which totally defeats the point of plyometric training.
Right.
If your trainer is having you do that when you're a 49-year-old man with tight Achilles tendons, you're at risk. Literally, you might be in a boot for 6 or more months on a little scooter because your trainer is a great fitness participant rather than a top-level coach. And again, those top-level coaches, just like the soccer coaches on the side of the field, they're not the fastest runner on the team. They probably don't have the best vision. They're not the strategic team captain on the field, but the coach knows a whole bunch of other stuff that he might not even bring into the players until they need it.
You've said it correctly.
Cool. Thank you. Sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. This is for this information is for their health and safety.
Yeah.
We're saving lives, people. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've actually talked with my friends and family and said, hey, if you ever are contemplating hiring someone in your area, send me their info. Let me check them out. I'll kind of audit them because I know what to look for in a great coach. And I think that, I would hope any fitness professional would welcome that kind of accounting of him or herself to make sure that the coach has everything that their client needs.
Yeah. A lot of us, of us trainers and coaches are, very, we don't like being told what to do.
Yeah. Fierce independence.
It's a very fierce independence, but the one you're hiring should be able to take that, like, oh man, I've kind of tons of flaws in my training over the years that I've had to redo my own thinking and restudy and do things myself. I caught myself doing things.
I'd be so embarrassed with some of my early workouts.
Oh,
we're both kind of wincing here as we're thinking about it because it's like, man, why did I have her do that?
Why
after that?
did I
then later on, I learned that was a bad idea and I never did it again.
That's right.
That's important. So keep going with that.
I've learned from my mistakes, and it's hard to learn from mistakes, and it's harder to hear someone point something out to you. And I like to use that constructive criticism, like not this, but try that. And that's really hard with us trainers. We're just so fiercely like, oh, I know my stuff. And we've seen other trainers not adhere to this advice and continue on. And I've seen them disappear.
Yeah.
because their coaching idea or their training idea was not malleable.
Yeah.
It wasn't able to be flexible and stretch and learn.
Yep.
Stuck in their ways, people eventually noticed this, and they were not successful.
Yeah.
At any, not even financially, just not successful at helping people.
Yeah.
So
I'm so glad you brought that up because, if you're a participant looking at a trainer, pay attention for that.
Yeah.
Look how they are.
and it's not just because they got 50,000 certifications, people.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah,
Clients don't ask multiple choice questions. So don't think that, there's a reason that top level coaching is not pillar number one. It has to come after these because it's important, but there's a lot of good that can be done up to this point too.
All right.
Now, let me roll you into number 5. Pillar number 5, this is really because of the time we live in, technology and applications. We really can't have the most success in our fitness effort if we're not involving something, right, to your own value. So if it's an app that tracks your workout stats so you know what weight to lift next time and you keep that positive momentum of progression, or whether it's something that holds you accountable or just allows you to connect digitally to your trainer. I mean, we even have an app that allows us to mark up the footage that clients send us of their movement, put lines on the screen and show them what we notice about their body, and then correct their technique that way. That's accessible now only because of the 21st century and the time we live in, but we should really make sure to use those to our advantage.
Sorry, I'm laughing because there's a 20-minute topic on this alone.
Yeah.
Don't buy useless fitness devices if you're not going to use them or don't know how to use them.
Yeah.
So many people buy these little items here and there that may not seem expensive, and next thing you know, they're not using them. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop doing it. But the commercials are so convincing, are they not?
Yep.
So you're right.
Well, and again, that's a great point that you bring up because those are the real clear, obvious ones like gadgets we buy or equipment that makes it into our home and then doesn't get used very much.
Thigh Master.
Yeah. Or big treadmills and stuff that become laundry hampers and hangers. But for this also, there is a piece, which is that with technology and with apps, I always encourage people to try to find how that stuff can benefit them. And a not so obvious example that I actually was given by a friend was, she missed a few workouts because she didn't have her headphones with her. And so she shows up to the gym. She can't listen to her own music. This is enough of a barrier to trip her up. And so she doesn't participate. And that's fine. No judgment on her. We all have our own reasons. And we all have different days where we have more or less threshold to deal with that kind of stuff. But in my coaching call with her, I mentioned, I wonder if there's a way you can get some more headphones. Yeah, actually, there's headphone stores all over the nation, and you can actually have headphones shipped to you. And so long story short, she tells me in the call, oh, I'm going to buy a second pair of headphones and just leave them in my gym bag all the time. $189. They're nice headphones, but she never misses a workout again. And so I encourage people to look for these little things where if you're having a friction or a tripping point or there's some struggle in your application or your adherence to a program, look to sidestep it with some gadget or tech or app, or even this can be as binary, as analog as, hey, I'm not making it to these afternoon walks that I tell myself I'm going to try to do. I'm going to make sure to invite a friend so that I can't skip it because he or she is now waiting for me. And that's going to be our 2:30, time that we spend together. That can be, I would think, classified as a technology. You're connecting with her or him and getting that accountability baked in because of something we have access to nowadays.
Yep. One of my clients likes the idea of the gamification of some of these devices that you wear.
Good point. Heart rate monitor.
Yeah, the heart rate monitor, the chest strap. It links up to the TV when you're in there, and it shows you how many calories you're burning, and how much effort you're at, and you're pushing and stuff like that. So there's this sort of gamification that comes with some of these devices that can help people too.
Yeah.
It can be a reminder of how intense you were or not intense you were. It always is a reminder if you did anything or not did anything. But I still say this: they're only as good as the person who's going to use them.
That's true. Yeah.
I have a client who's purchased one of these items, and I can track him and see when he's not doing things. And it's like, bro, Your data hasn't moved. What's up? And it's inevitably clear that he's like,
that's an interesting use of it.
I haven't been doing anything. I'm like, I know.
So the technology enables you to be aware of his non-participation.
Right.
That's really cool.
Just like your app, right? When you shows it when they check in.
I can see when they log into the app, when they look at the workout, everything.
Right. Mine too. It's like we can see when you're doing that. And so if you're going to use this technology, really freaking use it for what it's worth.
Right.
Do the research on it before buying it, because some of it's not that cheap. Mm-hmm. But it definitely can help a lot.
Yeah.
I used it when I came back into training again after a small hiatus, and we'll get into that topic maybe later on.
Yeah, that's a good episode to
I used it for just a few months to start tracking to where I was at and what I needed to do. And once I got it back online, I took that stupid strap off, and I was like, I'm running this game.
Yeah. Yep.
So I used
Great to help you get into that flow again. That's a perfect example. It's not a lifetime participation thing, just enough to get you getting back into it. I love that. And one last piece on this is that, when I talk about the use of technology and apps, and TJ and I share stuff back and forth, it's never coming from some holier than thou, let me tell you what to do. This is actually what we would do for our own participation to be improved. And if it's a one-time cost of $200 for me to get more headphones, I get more workouts, boom, I'm doing it. Or if this app is a couple of dollars to download and now I'm going to have this consistent measurement, it's going, right? And even if your Facebook app helps you you check in at the gym when you do your thing and then you get some likes and comments, that's technology too. And so that's what I do. I post about going to jiu-jitsu, and when I have even my own family members, my mom hits I still feel like, okay, cool. That's helping me out to make sure I go to the next class. And so that really is something that I don't think we should undervalue that.
I like to use some of my Instagram stuff to show my snowboarding that I'm back into, and then talk about fitness and how at my age I can still do these things, and it is possible to get there again.
Great example.
Yeah, that's what I want to use my Instagram for, is just the promotion of the things possible in life if you do X, Y, and Z. So I'm going to use it for that, and it motivates me to continue what I'm doing, to show people, hey, it is possible.
Yep.
Trust me, it's possible. So.
Yeah, I love that too. And especially, with bringing up the snowboarding, that's a great non-scale victory. We can't measure snowboarding with a bathroom scale. Yeah. And so it's sort of like, okay, cool. We're getting this fitness that we wouldn't be able to capture it unless we had that video footage or, those memories. Yeah. And so I really think that if you're the type of person that's maybe having a challenge to stick with your workouts or to get started with workouts, it can be really useful to use anything that helps you. Throw it all at the wall, get it to stick, and then start to peel those things away, pare it down, and eventually, my advice is to make it as least dependent on technology as possible. Yeah. But using it when you need to. So let's be real clear about that.
Thank you for that. Self-control with technology. Stop it, Joey. No.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please.
Because, to this point, I want to make it really obvious for everyone. There's also tracking to your detriment. Weighing every day, too much data, getting all this sort of noise, and spending time maybe feeling nervous about, I didn't sleep well enough because my watch says so, but how did you actually feel when you woke up? If your watch didn't tell you it was short, would you have felt like it was short? Sometimes people get a little bit overburdened by the overanalyzed life. And so we want to make a real good balancing act that we use technology to our advantage and we stop when it starts to be pulling us down.
There was this lady I knew was wearing, it's the telemetry strap. That's the chest strap.
Okay.
And I wanted to use the proper term, but I was kind of space cadetting that one. But there was this lady who was wearing the telemetry strap. Now, she would put it on the drive to the gym. Okay. So it starts collecting data right away, right? Sort of a false sense of like, I'm achieving a longer workout. Trying to trick the gamification of it.
Oh, okay.
And then
earning extra moments.
Right. And then after, I would notice that she would just, after the workouts were over, because she was working with somebody else, she would continue to wear it for the next 20 minutes. Instead of taking it off after, because you can clearly see on the monitor her heart rate had dropped, and it was but resting. It was still collecting calories burned because, and then it only stops when you push stop. Okay. Right. And so there's stuff like that too that I noticed a lot of people get into this with the technology. I don't want to run too far with this, but you wear it so much and then you give yourself a false sense of doing shit. And it's like, dude,
that's a good point.
Stop it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Put it on when you get there. then it starts tracking, and then when you're done, take it off.
Yeah.
Now, if you wanted to track, like say, I want to wear it when I go snowboarding. I want to see like what
that's
I'm
interesting.
really doing in like up there, because there's been some pretty tough days for me up there.
Yeah.
But I love to see that. Now, I think that's a clever way to use it too.
Yeah, smart.
Just, hey, I went snowboarding. I burned 3,000 calories. I did this, and like it shows me some data, and I like that kind of data. But I'm not going to use it again, other than that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't overuse it.
And I love this one. There's so much we could say, but think about this just real quick. The person who does a little extra at the end of the night to complete their rings or to hit that step goal, right? Like literally it's 7:30 p.m. They're just about ready to be laying down and relaxing for the rest of the night, but they look at their app and they see, oh man, only 1,600 steps to finish out our goal today. Let's go for a walk. And they go around the neighborhood. I love that as technology. That's awesome.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Now, in the same exact moment, another user can have that same thing on their wrist and say, oh, wait, stop the workout. I'm not ready to. They have to do some stuff like this, or they get a text message they're breathing hard and they're typing. And it's like, that's technology to your detriment. So we got to be totally clear that this knife cuts both ways. And I want to make sure that we understand, even us as fitness professionals, we're making sure to strike that balance too.
Absolutely.
Cool.
My cell phone's always in my bag.
Yeah. And, at the same time, don't give us too much credit. Like, we're not always some super warriors of fitness. I experienced dramatic increase in my health and fitness participation frequency during the pandemic when I would just walk into my studio, spare bedroom, workout room, put on a Netflix show, and just do some stuff. And it was low grade. It wasn't my best effort. It wasn't my sharpest technique. But because there was some entertainment on the TV, I was in there for 20, 40, 60 minutes. And
that counts.
It absolutely counts. And so for a person to say, hey, let's use the TV to get some more fitness going, dude, sign me up. Same scenario. That TV is too distracting. You're not working out hard enough. Now maybe you're wasting your time.
This happens at the gym all the damn time.
Yeah.
They got TVs on everything. And so people are just zoning the...
Can take you totally out of it. Totally.
Sorry. See, that's a whole nother thing.
No, man, I agree. I totally agree. Okay, last bit here.
Is it really? How many more you got?
This is it. Pillar
6.
number 6. Yeah.
Let's rock.
I know we get carried away because there's so much to talk about.
Hey, I'm not going to sell us short because we're passionate.
I want to apologize for that.
No.
Yeah.
We do this because we love this stuff.
Yep.
Go.
Cool. All right. So the last piece is accountability, and accountability is crucial because this is where we are consistent and we get sustainable success. And for me, it's kind of multifaceted, which is number one, we have to hold ourselves accountable to what we've decided we want to do. And this can sometimes be the hardest one. It's certainly the first one. And I like people to be verbal or to broadcast. Like, I'm going to start doing this thing. I'm trying to work out 3 times a week. I'm just going to do it until my kids go back to school in the summertime or in the wintertime. Cool. Tell people about that. Post it on Facebook. Yeah. Use that to your advantage to be accountable. And remember that when your trainers or any other trainer at the gym notices you and says, hi, and how have you been? We're kind of doing that as well. We're trying to bake in the community of accountability that comes from having people with a similar mindset. And I think this is really important, especially for people who are maybe establishing their fitness for the first time. If you have an unfit family and you need to learn these kind of behaviors, you need to have some of your day be surrounded by people who are doing what you want to end up doing. And so a group workout, I do group coaching calls with my clients. I do one-on-ones. I think people should have those walking appointments with each other. So you have this social aspect to your fitness, because I know it's going to last longer for you.
No doubt.
Good.
No doubt.
Cool.
Let's see.
And the last piece on this is that, and this is really something I believe in, the best way for a person to be successful is to be surrounded by those people who are trying to achieve a similar thing to you and are of a similar type to yourself. Because you might want to get fit, but if somebody is 20 years younger than you, they're going to inherently be able to do different techniques and activities and everything. And so similar people, similar abilities, and with similar goals. And to that point, I've actually built my business model to be a group of individuals with similar goals, all starting around the same time. So there's a cohort several times a year. We have a pre-sale, we sign up, we start everybody at week 1 together. And the beauty of this is that as you go through my program, by the time you're done and you're no longer paying me as a coach, you have 9 friends who are trying to do the same thing and are similar to you.
Good setup.
And I love this. And I think it's so important because I have 9 friends who are doing similar things to me, and they help me to keep going.
Right.
And I love to see them have success. And when they check into their workout on Facebook, I hit like. And it's this really cool sort of feedback loop. And I think of it like a tornado where the air itself kind of speeds itself up and it feeds itself and gets better and better.
There's nothing better than the contagious nature of health.
Yeah.
If you want to surround yourself with these like-minded people, you might slip up and find out you'll be one of them.
Yep.
And that's
hopefully so.
And that's okay with us, because that's exactly why we kind of started this podcast, because we wanted people to be of similar minds to us, to listen to this and want this stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe what we're saying, it does resonate with you guys. And that's exactly why we're doing it too. We want, and I know this resonates with people.
Yeah.
That's because we've been in this business for a long time.
Yep.
And we know what people are saying. So we want to give it back to you guys in the best way possible so that you can use this information immediately.
Yeah.
Right now, today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Today.
I love that. It's so true. And I think it goes for the participants looking for looking for trainers. And I think trainers, if a trainer hears this as well, I'm curious to know what your pillars are and how you came up with them.
Yeah.
Because that's really interesting. And I hope I learned something from anybody who could respond with that if they wanted to.
And it's okay to be of similar nature to ours too.
Yeah.
Like-minded people.
Yeah.
I've heard you say a few things in here that kind of resonated with what I was talking about within mine. You use some of the same words.
Yeah.
And they cross over in ways, although they do sound somewhat different. We know the why behind them, why we're giving them to you as pillars and structures to stand on, because they know where they will work, and they work right now.
Bingo. Yeah, absolutely. And that's how we started today's podcast. When you see the way to greatness, you'll recognize it broadly in all things or in many things. And so if DJ has stumbled upon and ended up with these as his pillars, and mine, that my experience and my knowledge has brought together as mine, and they're very overlapping, boom, that really confirms.
Yeah, it's something on top. And honestly, of course, I could add a couple more things to my pillars as well. I just chose 3 because, 3 is actually my favorite number.
There you go, yeah.
And I picked the top 3 after going through all of them. And I thought, this is what I want to say.
Bingo.
So,
yeah. Well, and I'll tell you what, with my 6 pillars, I could argue forever to anyone that any individual's health and fitness will not be at its maximum level until all 6 of these are included and satisfied.
All 9, my 3.
All 9, your 3 too.
My 3 and these 6 equal 9.
No matter how great you're doing, no matter how personal records you can be the fastest world record holder, and then you add in that 6th pillar, and it's going to take you up even more. Yeah. And so even if you're feeling like you got a lot of these, I say double down on them, strengthen them, make sure that they're complete and inclusive. And if you found yourself lacking somewhere, add that in, because it's going to boost up your success with everything else you're doing.
Okay, do you want me to run this back?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because I took notes.
We'll finish this off. Yeah,
I took notes. So let's run it back, and this is that recap that we were talking about, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Whenever you're ready, man. Go. The foundations of Joey's approach. This is what I wrote down. 1, thorough screening of client. And now I'm not going to write these down verbatim. These are just notes, right? Number 2, comprehensive info, systematic. 3, individualization, recommendations, and harmony. 4, top-level coaching. 5, technology and applications. Gamification is what I added to that.
Bingo.
And 6, accountability. Surround with similar people and holding ourselves accountable. That's the notes I took from yours.
Right on, man. Nailed it. Perfect.
Okay. Anything else?
Very cool. Well, as always, we appreciate anybody that's listened so far. We're closing in on 1 hour. So if you've been here for the entire thing, thank you so much for that. As always, if you have questions, comments, concerns, ideas, suggestions, or if you just want to say hi, don't hesitate to reach out to us. This is our 5th episode. Technically, I think our 9th recording, because we've had our A-B episodes.
Yep.
And we have a bit of a milestone today, which is that artwork is officially completed. Music is officially completed. Maybe it will be adjusted a little in the future. We'll see. But we're running, we're launching, and we're getting ready to do this. So to that point, if you enjoy what we're doing, we'd love it if you don't take a moment to just like, comment, subscribe, share it to somebody else, even if it's just sending it directly to one person.
It just saves one life, man.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Cool.
Okay.
Right on. Thank you. See you next time.
Bye.